Hi, folks. Thank you for joining us. Actually, I see there's only one person here. Shreen Richardson Loring. Well, thank you for being here. I'm hoping some more people will join us sometime soon. There's Bruno. See, there we go. Holy cow! Just like that, we're up to 24. I don't know what happened there, but glad you guys are here. We have a premiere of a new story coming up in about 30 minutes. That is it's a little different. So I hope you guys are going to join us for the premiere. It's going to be uh, Offensive Corporation checking in. Golly, I bet we met. Maybe. Is that Gabby? Yeah, I don't, yeah, I'm excited about the premiere too. I don't know if really calling it. I don't know if being excited about it is right because it's such a powerful and painful kind of story. But yeah, I really want to. I really want to see it do well, and I want it to. Nux is here too. This isn't Gabby, but I am a storyteller. Holy cow! I met a few, and some of the names escape me. I spent a lot of time editing Gabby's story, so her name got burned into my head a little bit more. And so, Nux, hello, Glenn, mods, storytellers, chat. I'm so proud of anyone that chose one more day sober, and so proud of those trying to get sober, for sure. Okay, so yes, that one more day thing. That's really the key. That's how to look at it. Is just not going to do it today. Just not going to do it today. Gabrielle's story is amazing. I'm so proud that she is continuing to be strong and fight. It is an amazing story. That what really impressed me is is the spirit that she shows while she's telling the story. That it is such a powerful story, and she's in a good place while she tells it. It's a hard story to share, but she is nailing life now, and yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome. So I guess Nux, you've already seen it since you're a member and you get a little bit of advanced access to it. Hello, Mary. Thank you for joining us. I'm glad you're here. The premiere is about 20 minutes away, and 25 minutes, whatever. You know, I love this channel. I can really only look at one day. I guess you mean one per day. Denise, we have other stories on our channel too. We have a whole series of addiction recovery stories. There is about 40 right now. I believe, and we have more to edit that we just haven't gotten to yet. We have a lot of stories. So, gosh, Denise, the recovery stories are very cool. The stories about victory. There's also human trafficking stories, and those stories are about victory as well. And there's some crossover. There's some addiction and recovery involved in trafficking stories, the ones that we've done fairly frequently. That most of them involve some sort of substance use disorder as well. So, so Denise, you should explore the recovery stories. If you give me a minute, I will post a link to the playlist of recovery stories because I think it's so important to me to have recovery stories on our channel because we hear so many comments in the comment section. Okay, I'm going to post the link to the recovery stories playlist on our channel right now. There it is in the chat. That'll take you to the recovery stories series, and there is a lot of stories there, and we keep adding more. It means a lot to me because when we hear from people in making comments on one of the stories in the fentanyl series, and their comments are about being new to recovery or struggling with recovery or having been in recovery for a long time or just wishing they were in recovery, I can point them to that series, and it's important to me to have that good news element. So, Jess Carter, thanks for being here, Jess and Donna. What? Yeah, okay. Getting Gabby's story done so quickly, it's kind of weird how our schedule here works because we have stories to edit that we shot in New Mexico, Arizona, Jacksonville, Florida, Pensacola, Florida, and Richmond, Virginia, and Cocoa Beach, Florida. And we try to kind of shuffle them up so that the audience isn't getting, a dozen. Good job, Denise. So that the audience isn't getting a dozen stories from one city and then a dozen stories from another city, and that instead you get a city from Pensacola, and then you get a story from Pensacola, and then you get a story from New Mexico, and then maybe a story from Richmond, and then maybe a story from wherever. So we bounce around and try to keep it kind of geographically diverse. And so, Gabby's story, when we record these interviews, we don't ever know the story in advance. And we know what the topic is, but we don't know any of the details. And so when I first heard Gabby's story, it was during the interview, and it like all the stories impact me some kind of way. But Gabby's story took some twists and turns that, yeah, I didn't see it coming. So, hello, Jay Stuckey. Thanks for doing these stories. My brother passed away in Memphis from fentanyl poisoning. Get be yeah. What is this? I don't know what you mean. What is this? This is a live event, and in a little over 20 minutes, there's going to be a premiere of a new story on our channel. I don't know if that answers your question or not, but looking at your screen name, I'm not sure you're particularly committed to what you're doing here. Let's see. Cool. So thanks for joining us. And what else? What other questions? Look at that. There's 7 thumbs up already. That's awesome, folks. I appreciate that. I got recommended here. Well, are you familiar with our channel? You know, we do a lot of stories about fentanyl poisoning, addiction recovery, human trafficking. Uh, we're starting a series on domestic violence. In fact, this story that is premiering in 20 minutes is has a domestic violence element to it. So it'll be part of that series as well. Now, we also have a series called American Peace Officer that is law enforcement officers sharing stories from their experiences in the field that were particularly memorable moments. Usually awesome kind of moments, sometimes very tragic kind of moments, but it's a slow growing series that we're working on as opportunities allow. Getting stories from law enforcement like that is a little bit of a challenge because typically what happens is the command staff has to get involved to make sure they're okay with it being published. So, but we're glad to do them. Hello, so Crystal Armstrong, thank you for joining us and sharing the pair of hearts. We can certainly read cool thing into that. Prayers for those in abusive, violent, and toxic relationships, says Jasmine. Yes, for sure. And I was at an awareness event in Galveston this morning, and I was at one point I was in a breakout session that was all about domestic violence and human trafficking. The irony of my story is I was watching this series before I lost my father to an overdose. Wow, Crystal. I'm very sorry for your loss. Uh, it seems like you've got this though. And I don't know much, but you're here and you're talking. And talking matters a whole bunch. Sharing with people matters a lot. So, what type of camera do I use? Do you mean now, like the camera that's recording me now? The camera that is on me right now is a Canon R5, and it has an 85 millimeter prime lens on it. Pretty much wide open. It's set to f2, I believe, to get this blurry stuff going on back here. So see if I back up. Focus pulls. It's cool, right? For the interviews, we shoot the interviews using a Canon C200. It's part of the cinema camera series. That the R5 isn't as well suited for interviews like that because they're long, and DSLRs have a issue with uh, overheating. not not like smoke and fire overheating, but they have to stop for a minute. And with the cinema camera, there's also XLR connections for the audio, and that's nice. All right, so Crystal, I wish fentanyl never existed. I had the tools, but I didn't know that I had to use them to save my father. But you can't blame yourself, Crystal. You really you can't blame yourself. Everyone has the tools, including the user. So you were there. You were there enough to be aware of something. But even if you weren't aware, I'm sure your father knew you were there for him. So don't go blaming you. That is precise. Okay, I don't know what to go with that, but maybe I'm not seeing it as quickly as I should be here. But so Jay says, I wish people would take these stories seriously. My brother, May 10, 2022, a month after his 39 years old birthday, this really helped my mother to see many people suffering from this epidemic. Thank you, Crystal. Well, we're here for you, Crystal. This group thing that happens when we do these live events, there's an awesome dynamic to it where there's some usual suspects that typically show up. Nux is one of them. So is Pat and Mary and several others. And where am I at? Where am I at? Wait. Jay, we travel all over the country to share these stories. I'm going to show you a picture here. These are the places that we have been recording stories for the series. And when we record these stories, we don't just record fentanyl stories, we also record whatever else. We record stories of recovery and of human trafficking, family violence, and open to other topics as well. See, there's another usual suspect. There's Pat right there. I don't think anyone takes the fentanyl epidemic seriously until it directly affects their family. That is spot on. Maybe not directly affects your family, but it has to affect someone who is in your inner circle some kind of way. That maybe it's a close friend or a coworker or something like that. But yeah, it has to land pretty close. So I feel like I have missed something here. R.I.P. My little brother Travis Malcolm Bishop, forever 32. He passed on May 20, 2023 from fentanyl 5 days out of rehab. That's an important thing for people to be aware of, is that after you get out of rehab, there is a much higher risk of overdose because like when you get out of any kind of detox situation, when you get out of custody, if you're incarcerated, if you're in jail or in prison or wherever, when you get out, there is a tendency to want to celebrate, and the risk of an overdose goes way up. Uh, DEA representatives tell me the risk goes up by 124% when you're released from custody. The risk of an overdose because the person tends to go back to the dose that they were at when they went in, and that is too much if you have detoxed, if you've come off of it. So I just wanted to deviate down that road a little bit because I feel like that's an important thing to tell people anytime we get an opportunity to. So Gira and Silas Fields, good afternoon. Thank you for joining us. I hope you're going to be with us for the premiere. Next, Chris Armstrong, I do that to myself about my brother. Yes, we have all the tools, but we cannot predict what they are ever going to buy. You cannot blame yourself ever. Nux is absolutely right. Thank you. Thank you, Nicole. So realize we'll be back doing this again after the premiere. I am really eager to hear feedback from you guys about this story because this story is different. It's really not a fentanyl specific kind of story. This is a story, it's a story about addiction and trauma and homicide and recovery, victory. So the story is sort of a wild ride. I don't think Gabby would take any offense at me describing it like that. Pat, I don't think any, yeah, okay, we talked about that. Offensive agrees. Pain has to be involved. Yes. Give it a little bit. That's a tough name, dude. I've become desensitized to this topic. Sadly, I can't really comment without offending anyone. Yeah. Well, we don't want to offend anyone. It's been a weird journey for me. I didn't know anything about fentanyl until uh, a little over 2.5 years ago. And I've learned a lot since then. Middletown, Ohio is a great place. HBO did a documentary about us, plus our city is where Vice President Vance is from. I hope he starts to do something to stop the epidemic. Jebron's World, Jayla 21. I'm in a great place to get some stories. We can come there. We can go anywhere. You guys saw the map earlier. I don't need to do it again, but we can come anywhere. The way it works is all of our storytelling events begin with one person at whatever location who contacts us once they have a story they want to share, and that starts the process of finding a location for us to do the interviews, and then we announce it on our channel, and that person who's the local typically has connections that brings in more people to share their story, and it just grows out of that. So all of these locations on this map right here, all of these locations begin with one individual, and at all of these locations we shot stories from at least 8 or 10 people at each location. Most of the locations we shot for 2 days, a few we shot for 3 days, a few we shot for one day, but at all of the locations we shot multiple stories. The person has to want to quit. Yeah, yeah. The person does have to want to quit. They have to get to that space in their mind and in their heart. Nux says, what I've learned is that blaming ourselves only keeps us in a loop of guilt and depression, and depression fuels the demand to use. Sorry, editorialized a little bit there. The fact is, we can't make someone stop, buy off the street, etc. We love them when no one else did. Very good. Jay, I live in Arizona, but my family stays in Tennessee and Mississippi. I served in the military over 30 years. I saw so many losses, but you are correct. When it hits your family, everyone sees it. So let me tell you a military thing. A few months ago, I met a state representative in it wasn't Oklahoma, it was Kansas, a state representative in Kansas. Very nice guy. He was instrumental in getting a Good Samaritan law passed in Kansas. Is one of the last states to get such a law. And we interviewed him about it. There's a story on our channel about it. But later, I was talking with him off camera, just visiting. He's an interesting guy to talk to. Very very personable, very friendly. I remember he had a Corvette. He's he's into cars. He's an older vet, but anyway, and and we talked about PTSD in the military, rising suicide rates, that kind of thing. And he started to cry. So I think there's a series in that, and I met something at this awareness event this morning who has some connection. So hopefully we can explore that a little bit better. Let me see where I'm at here. This is a story of one strong woman who has chosen to be sober through all the trials she has faced. Guess it is. It's a powerful story. It is hard to talk about. You don't know how people will take it. You just got to do it anyway. If people react badly, that's kind of on them. Sometimes people will react badly because they don't know. They don't know how to react. And then later on, more things come from it. Greg and Silas, Garrett and Silas. I don't know. I can read. I went to school in Pasadena, Texas, but I can read. So I don't know what you're laughing out loud at, or the name. The name. I don't know what to do with that either. I will absolutely help anyone with resources to get clean and sober. I will be an advocate to help anyone. Me too. Me too. Of course, Nicole, I know you are there for everybody. That's awesome. I'm in recovery too, Crystal says, but it's from alcohol. I couldn't imagine how hard it is for some people. It doesn't really matter what the substance is, I don't think. Being in recovery is being in recovery. And there has been I've talked to users of one substance who say that substance helped them get off of some other substance. And that's not really accurate. That substance replaced the other substance, but it didn't help them get off. So, folks, we are about to the point where the premiere is going to start. And so I am going to sign off for now. And I will be back here after the premiere. There'll be links during the premiere. Please join us in the premiere. I'm really eager to hear feedback from you guys about this story after you've seen it, because it's a little different than most of the stories on our channel. So I would really appreciate the feedback that, yes, Jay, PTSD is big in the military, especially as combat veterans. Maybe I can reach out to some of my active duty reservists. Yeah, I would love to make it happen. I can reach out to that state representative. I think his name is Pat, but I'm not sure. But I have his contact information, and I think that he would help too. He's in Kansas. So anyway, the premiere is about to get started. So I need to get over there wherever it is. I got it open here somewhere. I know I do. I'm paying attention for real. Oh, there it is. Okay. Sorry. Thank you for all you do to raise awareness. Thank you, Robin. We will be back doing this again in about 30 minutes. So I hope that all of you can come back and join us after the premiere. And right now, you should go to the premiere. And let me just get a link right here. In case you're not aware, here's a link to the premiere. I know that some of you members have already seen the story, but there's a link to the premiere, and we will have the chat going in the premiere. And then we'll be back here. So I just wanted to come on before the premiere and visit for a little while because I don't know, I had that kind of time. So we'll talk to you guys after the premiere. Thanks a lot.